Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shadow Wraith, and today I'm going to be going over the forces of good in the Armies of the Hobbit book. Now, I will try and give my best opinion on each of the factions, but if it's a very minor faction that is not going to do anything, I'll just give like 2 words on it and carry on. Alright, how this is going to work, I'll give a brief overview of what the faction does, and then I'll give my personal tier rating, what I think from my knowledge of Middle-earth strategy battle games, what I know from events and things like that, of where I think these guys place. If I give something a low tier, does not mean you can't win a tournament with it. It just means you're a bit of an underdog, and if you win, you basically get a double win. And sorry about the delay in videos, I just wanted to make a quick note here. I've been struggling to get videos out because unfortunately my laptop died. I've managed to borrow one for a couple of days here, and I'm currently trying to save up for a PC which I found for relatively cheap. So hopefully I'll be able to raise some money towards that. But bills and all that good stuff. Anyway, that's not why you're here. Straight into the video. We've got, of course, Thorin's company. Now, if you want to play an all-hero company or army, but not the Fellowship, these are the boys for you. Basically, the army bonus is not too bad. Models from this army in this list re-roll wound rolls of 1 whilst within 3 inches of Thorin Oakenshield. That's okay, but not very big radius at all. You've, of course, got all the dwarves from the Hobbit films. Thorin Oakenshield being your leader, rocking in at 100 points. He's not bad at all for a 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate hero at fight 6, strength 4, and he's defense 7. But that's pretty much as good as it gets. All the dwarves in this army have their own special little tricks. So you've got Killy and Philly, who've got combat synergy where they can swap places with one another at the start of any phase. Sure, why not? But we've got some pretty good ones. You can spend a will point of Barlin's to re-roll your priority roll, which is fantastic. He's got 3 will, you can do that 3 times in the game. That's really good. A lot of them got Weapon Master, so you're basically burly. But yeah, the rest of them, they're not too bad defense. They're fight 4 lowest. Things like Barlin, who's fight 4, but can go to fight 6 with Thorin and Dwalin. Other than that, you're going to have all the struggles of a full hero army, which is low model count. You'll get trapped if you're not careful. And yeah, it's just harder to win certain scenarios. If you've got Contest of Champions or something like that, you might be okay. But objective based, you will struggle. Saying that, you are very good at taking down big targets. With a combination of Bilbo Baggins, he has the ring, of course, and he doesn't take the negative side effects of wearing the ring, so there's no chance of him wandering off under your opponent's control. And you've got Gandalf the Grey, who's got things like Protection of the Valar to make your heroes basically untouchable by magic and things like that. So, yeah, they're pretty cool, but unfortunately they do go into the low tier in my opinion, just because of the low model count, and hero lists don't tend to do too great. Army of Thror. Now, Army of Thror is one of my, quite favourite factions, I'd say. I love the dwarves, don't get me wrong, but their army bonus is pretty decent. Friendly Arabor dwarf models count as being in range of banner if they're within 6 inches of Thror. Thror, of course, you're going to be bringing because he's 120 points and he's a whopping defense 9, 3 might, 3 will, 1 fate because, of course, he does perish. Yeah, he's not bad. He's got the Arkenstone, so he's got a fate roll of 3+, but if it's ever 4+ or better, it's free. So you kind of got infinite fate there if you roll high enough. That's pretty good. And you've got the Ring of Durin, of course, so you can re-roll a single priority roll. He also unlocks the upgrade for your Grimhammers to become Guardians of the King for 1 extra point, and they become Strength 4, which is very tasty. You've got really good hero models in the form of Thrain, who is a solid fighter all round, 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate. Obviously he doesn't die, he becomes completely insane at the death of his king, but if he's on the table, friendly dwarf models on the battlefield automatically are affected by his standfast. Battlefield wide, it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, he's got a Masterforged 2-handed hammer at strength 4, so he is a bit of a beatstick at fight 6. You've got young Thorin Oakenshield, he's not too bad, he's not too different from before. Yeah, nothing really, you just can't take Orcrist, obviously, because he hasn't got that yet. And you've got the young Dwalin, young Barlin, and Grimhammer captains, and captains of Arabor. I love the Grimhammers, so I'm going to quickly go over the Grimhammers, because I think they're fantastic. What makes these guys fantastic? Well, they're 11 points, 12 points if you upgrade them to Guardians of the King, which you definitely should do, because they've got a pick hammer and thrown axes. A pick hammer is a hand-and-a-half weapon, which may be used to either bash or piercing strike. Both fantastic strikes, okay? Piercing strike's always good, but you're defense 7, so you can usually get away with it. And bash is funny. But what makes them absolutely fantastic is the throwing axes. Throwing weapons are fantastic in this game. You charge in, get a chance to take out your enemy with a strength 3 shot, hitting on a 4, because their shoot value is 4+. You can move full and throw it with the -1 penalty. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And then once you're in combat, you're solid as anything, and you can be +1 to wound. So these are your killing power. Downsides to the army: no cavalry, no shooting apart from throwing axes, so they will struggle. So I'm going to give them a nice little mid-tier because they've got strong heroes. But we don't know what's going to happen with the new expansions. Iron Hills, okay? Iron Hills, brilliant force, absolutely brilliant force. Army bonus: you get to alter your reinforcement rolls if you're in a scenario that requires them by 1, either up or down, which is really, really handy. Additionally, Dane Ironfoot gets Master of Battle 4+ special rule, which is fantastic because even if you don't have any might left at the game and your opponent does, you can nick their heroic actions. On top of that, during the game, you can keep nicking heroic actions to save on your might, so heroic moves and things like that, heroic strikes for heroes that are in combat with Dane, all that good stuff, and even heroic combats. So, it's very good. Dane Ironfoot is obviously an absolute beat stick, one of the best heroes in the game. 140 points, 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate, fight 6, strength 5, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 7. He's got all the heroic actions in the world, but he can have a Warbor, which is a defense 6, 2 wound mount that only moves 8 inches, but he's still cavalry. So you get that sweet knock to the ground bonus and all that good stuff, extra attack. With Burly at strength 5. Terrifying. Okay. The only downside to him is the fiery temperament. He has to charge if he is in range to do so. So some people might be able to use that against you. I've done it once against an opponent, but that's it, really. Most of the time you want him in combat anyway. And he's got his fantastic headbutt where you can knock people to the ground on a 5+ if he doesn't kill them. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. All for 140 points. On top of that, you've got the Iron Hills Captains, which are infamous for being defense 9 in a shield wall. Yes, you have shield wall with this faction. Master of Battle 5+. And then your Warriors of the Iron Hills. They've all got shield wall. So with a shield, they go up to defense 8. Absolutely crazy. So you've got defense 8 shield wall. You want to give them all spears. Don't do the mattocks. Please don't do the mattocks. Give them all shield and spear. Stick them in a phalanx kind of formation. Well, shield wall. And fight like that where Captain plonks straight in the centre. Because the Captain has got Master of Battle 5+. So even he can be nicking heroic actions. They've got Iron Hill Goat Riders, which are one of the best cavalry in the game. Also, because you're strength 4, you can have a War Spear on them. So you're +1 to wound. You've got the knock to the ground bonus. On top of that, the goats, the war goats, are only movement 8, but they get the devastating charge where you roll a 5+ for each man-sized model you've charged into, and they get knocked down. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Solid as anything. And they're defense 6 as well, and you've got defense 5 mounts. So yeah, not squishy at all. And you've got the bane of my existence sometimes, which is the Iron Hills Ballista, which is, in my opinion, the best siege weapon in the game. It's not 90 points anymore, it's like 120. It got FAQ'd because it was getting spammed, and then it got FAQ'd again where you can only take a certain amount of them depending on heroic tiers you've got on your list. So you won't be seeing 3 of them in anyone's list anymore, hopefully. But yeah, they're fantastic. They get a free heroic shoot every turn, so they're always shooting first unless you want to spend the might to try and counter it. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, this thing. They knock everything prone. They've got a 2-inch splash area. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And you get to reroll ones to hit. Why not? And they gave that all for 90 points back in the day. Iron Hills Chariot. It's okay. Okay, it can't be trapped, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty solid. But it's a chariot, so it comes with all the limitations of chariot. So if you've got any terrain in the battlefield, you're not going to be able to go around it. I've never had a drama facing one. So, yeah, and they're really awkward to move. Moving on, Arabor reclaimed. Now, what you want to do is get Thorin's company, give them a bunch of armor, so they're all like defense 8 and 9, and smash them in with Iron Hills. That's what you got here. You've got Thorin Oaken Shield, who counts as a 6-inch banner. That's really solid. On top of that, you can bring all the Iron Hills stuff. So if you want to run Thorin's company, but you want to be a bit more competitive and have access to Iron Hills stuff, bring these guys. And that includes Dane Ironfoot. You can bring Iron Hill Captains, Iron Hill Warriors. And the Goat Riders, absolutely. And you can stick all these boys on goats, so you can have them mounted. Even better. Iron Hills, of course, were top tier, and I would definitely give these guys a high tier. Very, very, very considering giving them top tier, but no, I'm going to stick with high tier. Then we got Army of Lake Town. Army of Lake Town. I love Army of Lake Town. They look fantastic, but are they super competitive? Well, let's see. The the army bonus is the Master of Lake Town's money bag special rule is 12 inches rather than 6. Basically, what this does is you spend a point of might and you become Boromir, Bannermere for a turn. It's absolutely nuts. So pretty much everyone gets a +1 to their fight value, and they count as being in range of a banner. So yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. You've got Alfred, who can nick might off of heroes if you roll a 1, but if you roll anything else and spend a point of will, you then give that hero a might point. So it'd be a Lake Town hero. So he's got 3 will. So effectively, if you keep him near the Master of Lake Town, he's got 6 might because you can give him a might point on a 6+. Yeah, that's not bad. All your infantry are not too bad. They're pretty standard. Fight 3, strength 3, low defense, defense 4, 1 attack, courage 2. Courage is terrible in these guys, but they look fantastic. Okay. What tier are they? I mean, they're okay on their own. These are all going off standalones. I'd put them low mid tier. Yeah, they're not amazing. They're fun though. This is just my opinion though. Survivors of Lake Town. You've got Bard. Bard is this list. You need to bring Bard. He is fantastic, and you want to be bringing his family, because if he brings his family, Sigrid and Tilda, you get a +1 to the fight value if he's near one of them, and he gets a bonus of +1 to your fight value and a heroic combat each turn without spending might if he's near both of them. So that's pretty good. Only downside is if anyone kills him, Bard goes nuts and tries to charge that person. So all your other heroes buff your Lake Town. Okay, so you've got Percy, who lets people reroll hit rolls of 1 when shooting. You've got Hilda, which is nuts. You get +1 to wound if you charge for everyone within 3 inches of her. So that's absolutely crazy. You've got Bilbo Baggins' Master Burglar. This is the big buff one, who's got 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate for some reason. Of course, he's got the 1 ring, so he's halving the opponent's fight value with no downside. So Bard can go and then chop their head off with no problem whatsoever. And he comes with Sting and the Mithril Coat, so he's a buffed up version. You've got 40-point captains for Heroic March. And then all your Lake Town militia are 5 points. So you can spam bodies with this list. Absolutely spam the bodies. You can give them bows, shields, spears. So, yeah. Lake Town militia within 3 inches of a friendly Lake Town model who is in combat do not need to take courage tests for being broken either. So, and they're courage 3. So that's pretty crazy. You can have these guys with spears. Front guy who's charged in have +1 to wound. If they got bows, they're really rolling 1s to hit. It gets a bit silly. What tier are these guys? Absolutely top tier. They absolutely smash games. They're fantastic. They're a horde list with a load of buffs. Absolutely. Garrison of Dale. You've got the best shooting hero in this one. You've got Girion, Lord of Dale. And the reason he's fantastic is because he's got rapid fire. So, if he targets someone with his great bow, you can take another shot within 3 inches of it, or the same target. And if that shot hits as well, he can shoot again to a maximum of 3 shots. So he can triple shot if he hits with the first 2 into the same person. So he is an absolute fate drainer on enemy heroes. He can pick off whoever he wants really, because a great bow, strength 4, absolute monster, and he hits on a 3+. The army bonus increases the shoot value of captains and warriors of Dale by 1, so they go from 4+ to 3+ shoot value. And they can have Esgaroth bows, so yeah, very nice. But are the warriors any good? Well, they're 7 points of model standard. You can give them war horns, banners, Esgaroth bows, shields, spears. Yeah, 7 points. They're fight 4, strength 3, defense 4, or 5 with a shield, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 3. Not bad, not bad. 50 points for their captain, of course. Yeah, stick a bunch of bows on people. Why not? They're not too bad. I'll give them mid-tier. They're okay. Rivendell. Now, Rivendell are absolutely fantastic, okay? You've got fantastic heroes. Massive legendary ones like Gilgalad, who's a whopping fight 9 with his +1 to wound spear. You've got Elrond, who can let you have a full cav list with bows. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Glorfindel, who's an absolute beatstick at fight 7. And they've all got Elven-made weapons. Eristor's pretty good. Arwen, but of course, we've got Círdan, which everyone loves because he's got amazing magical powers. Absolutely amazing, because he can make your enemies hit your guys within 6 inches on natural 6s for shooting attacks with blinding light. He's got enchanted blades to buff them up so they're more killy. Aura of Dismay to make everyone cause terror. Absolute monster for 80 points. It's crazy. Your high elf captains are rather pricey, but you need Heroic March. Yeah, warriors are fantastic. Starting at 9 points a model. They're all fight 5, defense 5, defense 6 with a shield, which is crazy, for 10 points. You can give them spears, bows, banners, war horns. Yeah, they're very, very strong. And with Elven-made blades at fight 5, you can really scare people. If you bring Gilgalad, you can pay an extra point or 2 points. I'll have to double check that. I think it is 2 points. Nope, it's 1 point. Just 1 point to make them fight 6. The same fight as Aragorn, Boromir, things like that. And if you're going against things like Boromir, you've got the Elven-made bonus. So you're probably going to win that fight anyway. So you're going to make heroes want to strike when they're fighting your normal dudes. Very scary. Rivendell are top tier, of course, because they can do everything. They can shoot well, they can take a hit, and they can kill well because they've got their Rivendell Knights who have lances. Yeah. Absolute top tier army. Absolutely love them, and they're very popular. Halls of Thranduil. I mean, these guys are crazy. Everything revolves around Thranduil, so you want to be bringing him. He is fantastic. He's 100 point standard, and he's got a billion upgrades. You give him an additional Elven-made sword, which you want to do. It makes him fight 7, and he gets the Blade Lord special rule, which is when he's an infantry model, so not on his elk or horse, he gets +1 attack for each enemy after the first one that he is fighting. So if you've got 4 people in base contact with you, you've got +3 attacks. Suddenly, he's throwing 6 dice. He's strength 4, fight 6, 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate. Absolute fantastic hero. He's got the Circlet of Kings, which lets you cast Aura of Dismay for free without spending will, and it counts as a 6. Or Nature's Wrath for free, and it counts as a 6. But yeah, absolutely. I'd definitely stick him as an infantry hero, running up there, buffing up all my guys, because on this elk, he's cool, but he's really easy to trap because he's on a massive base. What he does, though, is he gives your army a lot of stuff. So, whilst they're within 3 inches of Thranduil, all Palace Guard captains, Mirkwood Elf captains, Palace Guard, Mirkwood Cavalry, Mirkwood Elves, gain +1 to their wound rolls. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Plus, the Palace Guard get +1 to their fight value if they're within 3 inches of him. And yeah, that's crazy. Because the Palace Guard captain, suddenly for 75 points, is fight 7 near Thranduil, +1 to wound with an Elven-made hand-and-a-half sword, which you could 2-hand to make yourself +2 to wound if you've got someone trapped. If you give him a shield, he's defense 7 as well. I think he's the best point-for-point captain in the game. If he's near Thranduil, of course. Absolutely crazy. You've got Legolas. I always find Legolas a little bit meh. His bow's pretty cool for sniping off the odd banner, but it's still only a strength 3 bow, so you might not kill what you're shooting at anyway. But his best use I've found is sniping hero horses. So yeah, if you want to do that and you love Legolas, bring him along, 95 points. Or you can bring Tauriel. Tauriel is cheaper and better in my opinion, because you can have a bow, but you can't do the super shot or fire 3 shots. But she's got Blade Lord, basically. It's called Blade Mistress, but does exactly the same thing as Blade Lord. Extra attack for each enemy after the first that's in base contact with her. That is crazy. Strength 4, Fight 6, 3 Might, 2 Will, 3 Fate. Yeah, and she's got some Vengeful Fury if Killy dies. She goes up to Strength 5 and Defense 4. So you can, Suicide Gilly straight into the enemy. So yeah. Sorry, Killy, not Gilly. Ugh. Thranduil's Halls. Top tier, without a doubt. You've got fantastic warriors, fantastic choice of units. Yeah, you've got good shooting from the Mirkwood Rangers, which, by the way, don't count to your bow limit, so you can spam Rangers. It's pretty solid if you want to shoot your opponent off the board whilst hiding in the woods. But yeah, it's not my ideal way of playing, but you can do that. Radagast Alliance. Eagles get +1 to their strength on the turn in which they charged. That's not bad. Basically, Radagast Alliance is the Misty Mountains, so you've got Gwai here, and you've got the Great Eagles, plus Radagast and beyond. So the Great Eagles are pretty good. Okay, they're all like Fight 7, Defense 8. 2 attacks, but they got Monstrous Charge, 3 attacks, so you're knocking cavalry over. And I think they're Strength 7 on the charge, so that's not bad at all. Radagast is probably the best caster in the game, bar Saruman maybe, but it's 150 points. Yeah, he's got great magical powers, and you can give him his sled. So yeah, sled is crazy because it gets 4 attacks, which means when you knock someone down, you're hitting them with like 8 strength 4 attacks. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. He's really good in combat. Then we got Bjorn. Bjorn, 200 points. Way too expensive for this guy. I love him. I love the model, but he's way too expensive. 3 Might, 3 Will, 3 Fate. Fight 6 in man form. Strength 5, Defense 5, 3 attacks, 3 Will, Courage 6. Cool thing is, he's a skin changer. So you roll a dice at the start of the movement phase on a 4+, and you can use Might. He turns into a bear, or you can turn back into a human. Bear Bjorn is Fight 8, Move 8, so he's gone up 2 inches of movement. He's Strength 8, Defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, Courage 6. Same Might, Will, Fate. He's burly, both of them are. Woodland creature, resistant to magic, causes terror. As a bear, he causes terror. He's got Berserk, so he has to charge, and his heroic actions won't affect anyone around him. So, yeah, and he can't use Stand Fast. But he's got his brutal power attack, which is Crushing Strength. So, if you win, instead of striking normally, you roll 1 dice and inflict a wound at Strength 10. If you wound them, you roll it again, and you keep on going until you fail to wound them or your victim is dead. That's really good. I've killed Sauron with that, so it's quite a cool little rule. Their tier, low tier. Sorry, lads. Yeah, not enough models. You're the fastest army in the game, but you don't have the models, and you're really easy to trap. And once people trap you and strike up with their heroes, your eagles will go down fast. Misty Mountains, yeah, I've gone over them. They're Fight 7, Strength 7 on the charge, Defense 8, 2 wounds, 2 attacks each. But they got Monstrous Charge, Terror, and Fly. Gwai here is pretty good. 3 Might, 3 Will, 3 Fate, 150 points. All the same things. And hero models and eagles and wizards can benefit from his heroic actions. Again, low tier. Better tier with Radagast Alliance with Radagast, but low tier. Now, the White Council is... I'm not going to go over it all. You've got Saruman the White, who's a great caster. Galadriel, Lady of Light. She's fantastic as an ally. Bring her as an ally. Okay? Banishment, Instill Fear, Fortify Spirit, and she gets Cast Blinding Light for free. So, that's fantastic. Celeborn is pretty good at fighting. Yeah, that's about it. If you bring them on their own, low tier, but at that point you're playing for thematic reasons. So, yeah. Either bring them as allies or don't run competitively, in my opinion. But hey-ho, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Wanderers in the Wild, we've got Thrain. Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to bring Thrain as an army, so he's just bonkers and your opponent can control him. There we go. That is all the Forces of Good in the Armies of the Hobbit book. Now, let me know in the comment section down below. Did I miss anything out? Did I fail to say something? Did I rate your army in the wrong category? If I did, do tell me why I'm wrong. If you've won tournaments or something like that. Because I love to be proved wrong about low tiers. Because I don't think any army is rubbish, apart from Wanderers in the Wild, because obviously you're not going to win with that. But any legit army, I don't think they're rubbish, because I do believe that I'd say at least 60% to 75% of this game is all about the player. So, not the list, the player. The list helps, obviously, but I think it's all about the player. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, do hit the like button because it really helps the channel out. And if you did really enjoy it, do consider subscribing and be an absolute saint. But even if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.